In the post-9/11 era of volatile stock markets, rising interest rates, high gas prices, and costly health care, we all have to be very careful of what we do with our money. How you invest and with whom you invest will have a lasting impact on the quality of your life and the lives of those you love and care for most. But all an investor needs to do these days is read the many news stories and articles on the subject of investor abuse to realize that there has been and still is a very serious compliance problem in the securities industry. And while it's clear that most professional brokers and brokerage firms are ethical, there are still those that are willing to risk violating SEC regulations and take advantage of unsuspecting investors. Investing money is serious business. So is losing it. Recovering those losses is our business. NSAS, Nationwide Securities Arbitration Services. Victimized investors come from all walks of life. They're young, old, rich, and poor. But one thing these people all have in common is they've all lost money through bad investment advice.
Yes, I lost an enormous amount of money in the stock market. It's rather ironic because I worked in a brokerage firm and I felt completely safe. I thought nothing could happen to me. They all know what they're doing. But it was quite the opposite.
He put the vast majority of my money into high-tech stocks. And each month I would get my statement and I would watch my savings dwindle. And I got very concerned and I called him and he said, "Oh, the market goes up, the market goes down, don't worry about it." But all I saw was down, down, down.
Hi, I'm actor Richard Hatch, and I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars because I didn't take the time to educate myself about the investment world. So instead of finding a qualified broker, I turned my money over to unscrupulous professionals I thought would have my best interest at heart. They didn't, and I'm not alone.
The loss certainly caused me a lot of disappointment. It certainly didn't improve my situation at all, and it has really wasted 10 years of my what should have been a more productive life.
So basically he took 85% of my full investment and put them into these unit trusts, and my account started to go down every month. I mean, one month it was $40,000 loss, $60,000 one month. I mean, it was, more money every month than some people make in a year.
Doctors, lawyers, truck drivers, and teachers have all made the same mistake. You'd be amazed how many intelligent people turn their money over to unethical brokers and get taken advantage of because they simply didn't take the time to research and qualify their financial advisors and learn a few simple investment rules. Life is too precious to waste your life savings. Become an empowered investor and get your money back.
Bill, you've been a stockbroker for quite some time, isn't that true?
Yes.
And you do understand your obligations to protect my client's financial interest as her broker?
Yes.
As the market was collapsing during this time period when you were her broker, what did you do to protect her nest egg?
Well, I did what the firm told me to do. I did what the analysts told me to do.
Was there any time when you looked at a monthly statement and noticed that you were losing money?
All the time.
What did you do?
Every time I opened up a statement, I was very upset. But you have to understand, Bill is a family friend.
You heard her testify that she had no prior experience in the market. She had never attended an investment seminar. She never read a book on investments, did not subscribe to an investment magazine or newspaper, and yet trusted the broker.
Being taken advantage of with our finances can happen to all of us. Do most of us do anything to protect ourselves or try to get the money back? No. In most cases, we feel stupid, embarrassed, ashamed of being so naive and uneducated about money in the investment world. So we usually just let it go, do nothing about it. That's what I did. One of the biggest mistakes of my life.
I take a personal satisfaction in helping others. The entire firm, both Nationwide and the law firm, share in the satisfaction of educating people so they are smarter investors, and in the satisfaction we get by taking on Wall Street for them where they otherwise could not afford it or would not undertake the energy to try to recover money against a big Wall Street firm and its Wall Street lawyers.
As one of the industry leaders over the past 25 years, NSAS has recovered tens of millions of dollars on behalf of thousands of victimized investors and is currently representing hundreds of other clients with millions of dollars in investor claims throughout the country. Help is available, and you should never feel embarrassed about seeking legal recourse.
Unless you're experienced and spend a lot of time dealing with the brokerage firms, the brokers, the investors, it is a physical impossibility to understand the workings of it.
I want to introduce you to a couple of friends of mine, attorneys for this mock dramatization of a real case. Jeff Rentz.
Hello, Richard.
How are you?
Thank
Good
you.
to see
Very
you
well.
again.
Thank you. Good to see you, too.
Fred Todd.
Nice to see you.
Excellent acting, I must say.
Thank you.
And they always say that attorneys are great actors, so...
Thank you.
You know, I am amazed. We're sitting in a courtroom here, and I'm sure most people, when they see a courtroom, they get very intimidated. What can you say to these people to help them overcome that fear and realize that obviously most cases are not handled in a courtroom like this, and that most cases go through arbitration? And I don't even understand the arbitration process. Maybe you can explain that to us.
I can, Richard, and it's really quite simple. When you open a brokerage account, you sign a contract, and the contract says you have to litigate your claims in arbitration. Right. So a person's perception that they're going to get stuck in a court system is really a bad perception. In arbitration, there are no depositions. No one's going to ask them any questions. They never have to appear in court. They never have to appear in front of the judge. They never have to appear at the other lawyer's office. Yeah. And they give no testimony with the court reporter. It's none of that. At which of those stages, as my client was losing all the money that she had in the world, did you jump in and say to your broker, get this woman out of the market? I don't care what the analysts say.
At the time, we still were thinking the market was going to go back up.
It doesn't take them years stuck in a court system where if they win, there's an appeal and levels of appeal that take years and years and years. It goes to arbitration. It's supposed to be fundamentally fair. It uses equity, which is fairness, instead of just strict rules of law, and the rules of evidence in the hearings are greatly relaxed. And they get to go through a process where 3 people and make a decision. Now, along the way, the good fortune is that there's a mediation process. While the arbitration is started and it has a date when we're going to get a hearing, along that path, sometimes the parties decide to start to talk to resolve it short of going into an arbitration.
It doesn't even make it all the way to...
That's correct.
The mediator goes back and forth between the parties, and he discusses the strengths and weaknesses of each party's case, and he tries to get them to a resolution to the matter, to bring them to some number where both parties can walk away from this feeling satisfied, if you will.
I didn't even have to go to court. They actually settled in a mediation, and they saved my life. I really thought that money was gone. I would never see it again.
I'm just curious, how many people that finally maybe do seek recourse, how many of those actually see some money come back?
A lot of them.
All I can say is what a wonderful feeling it was to have that all off of our shoulders, off of our minds. I mean, okay, we recovered the money and we recovered our lives too.
I think the hard part is the longer you wait, it gets foggier in your mind. It's an issue that you don't want to go back and readdress, you know. And obviously the statute of limitation is 6 years. But as you mentioned to me, they should really, if they wait that long, you're in the danger area.
Well, let me really explain that rule so everybody understands it. The stock exchanges say that you have 6 years to file a claim at one of the self-regulatory organizations. 6 years to be eligible for arbitration. The 6 years is a very vague rule.
The thing that got me was after a while, I really lost hope in it all, and in fact it was 4 years that after the big loss, I was just so depressed.
People go out, they invest, they lose money. And people accept that as a normal market risk. I mean, how does one really know that there has been some kind of a violation or somebody's crossed that line? And it's a very vague line, it seems like to me.
If you even suspect that something happened in an investment in a corporate enterprise or in the stock market or the commodities market, you call us. We're there to advise you, we're there to educate you, we're there to look over your documents and find out for you if the feelings you're having are natural or really are the lead to some other problem that needs to be further investigated.
Become a smart, informed, and empowered investor. Avoid unscrupulous brokers and bad investment advice. More importantly, retrieve your lost investments from illegal broker abuse through NSAS, Nationwide Securities Arbitration Services. Call for a free appraisal of your financial losses and see if you qualify for arbitration.